Hey, come on in here. Sorry, it's been another busy week. I'm glad to be with you. I'm here at my desk, and I am bad jobs number today. Bad jobs number, bad sign for the economy. We'll talk about that in a moment. Let's make sure we do the Pledge of Allegiance, though. Here we go. Let's do the pledge, and join me if you will. I'm going to stand. I hope you will consider standing to say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, everybody, thank you for coming in. I was doing some television yesterday. We were talking about Israel. We were talking about China. We're talking about Iran. We're talking about our own economy. And then the jobs numbers come out. And today, you just have to start to shake your head. What do we got here? And what I was saying on the television appearance is that, you know, whether we like it or not, and we shouldn't like it, but whether we like it or not, we are now living in a world where the dominant leader in the world is the President of the United States. The dominant actor in the world is the United States federal government. I wish it wasn't that way. I wish we had a decentralized government. I wish we would have reduced the size and scope of government. All that is true. It's crazy. Again, when I was doing an interview with somebody, we were talking about, Mark Mix, who is the head of the National Right to Work Committee. He was talking about the number of rules and regulations that the Biden administration is able to enact or rescind that has a dramatic effect on businesses everywhere, every day. So we got this massive set of issues that are happening all around us, and the government, the federal government, and the executive branch is dominant. It's a bad model. It's a bad thing. It's too much, too much federal government. We should kind of not forget to say that. And one of the biggest things is this trillions and trillions of dollars of spending, which we all say, we were trying to get through COVID and all. It's a wealth transfer from normal people to the preferred of the Democrat Party. And by the way, it's the second time in the last 10 years, 11 years that they've done this. When Obama came in and he had to do his stimulus, a massive transfer of wealth from normal people to preferred Democrat partners. Now in the last year, less than a year, massive. And even under Trump, they passed a bunch of spending because they were trying to hold off the lockdown and shutdown. Trillions of dollars transferred from we the people to special interests, and it's accelerated under Biden. You know, the unions got a bunch of money. The schools got money that they said they needed. I don't trust them in a big way, but anyway, here we are where we are. But we should be coming out of the terrible lockdown and exploding with growth because there's pent-up demand, there's pent-up savings. A lot of people saved money when they stayed home and didn't eat out and didn't travel. And here we are, where the jobs numbers are again disappointing. They're again less than they predicted. And, I hate to say this, the government has control of those numbers. So what you're seeing and means that it's probably worse. It's probably worse. So where are we headed? And the fact is, just the simple fact is, we don't know. We're now living in a period of time where, because of the leadership of this president, chaos, and it's not the chaos of tweets, right? Trump had the chaos of tweets, fine. But you sort of had America first as the agenda. You knew that other countries respected us, that they were backed off, that they weren't going to mess with us. That within a range they messed with us, but in general. But right now we're in this chaos. At least maybe it's not total chaos yet. I could be wrong about that phrase, but it's certainly, it feels very uncertain. It feels like the fundamentals are off in a way that we haven't had to worry about before. We've got gas prices up. We've got food prices up. We've got jobs numbers that are lower than everybody expected. We've got the economy surging. I mean, I went to check on a vacation. We're trying to go to vacation with our friends, and the rooms are booked at the place we want to go, like to the hilt. So people are on the move. More schools are saying they're opening, although some are saying they're not sure. But you look around, the basics of the economy, the basics of sort of coming back feel off. It feels uncertain. And here's the thing about the economy. Remember when people used to say about Trump, they would say he always talks about how it's a record breaking and things are, they say he's obsessed with record breaking and calling it the biggest and calling it the best and calling it and all the superlatives. And they think he's bragging. And in some way he is. He's a New Yorker, he's kind of a braggadocious guy. But in another way, he was sort of, he was describing what to expect. He was describing what we could expect to happen. If you wake up in the morning and the first thing you look at on CNN is a message that the climate is deteriorating and we may or may not live in 20 years, which is totally insane predictions. But that's what they say all the time. If you wake up and they tell you and they cover breathlessly that the greatest threat to the homeland is violence from white supremacists, which is what Joe Biden said the other day. If you hear over and over these kind of negative directions, you start to feel negative. If you have, and back to this, on the economy is something like, I don't know, 50% psychological. Remember the old Yogi Berra thing? The baseball is 90% mental and the other half it's physical or whatever, however he said that. But whatever the number is, a lot of how we deal with the economy is based on how we feel about it, how the psychology of it is. And the psychology of it is bad. It's bad. And the only thing worse than how it feels and the uncertainty is the number of things that are happening sort of either on the side that you only sort of notice or you don't even know are happening. In terms of, again, I had Mark Mix on the radio show. If you go to proamericareport.com, you can go there and you can listen to his interview. And he's basically saying the things that they're doing to workers and to businesses is terrible. So, but here's the thing. We have the fundamentals in this country. We have the fundamentals that, we are too great to fail. We are too great as a nation. The fundamentals are the people. The fundamentals are the rule of law. We still have, even though the rule of law has been corrupted, especially by the government's misuse of it, we still have the best system of protecting property rights, patents, copyrights, protecting people's interests, honoring contracts. We still have the best in the world, the best in history. And that still is the sort of fabric. Now, underlying the fabric is our Judeo-Christian values that say why it's honorable to live in a place of rule of law and all, and we've got to fight for that. I think that's a problem. But we have the fundamentals. We have the fundamentals right. We the people. You look at the arc even of the pandemic and the mistakes that were made. A lot of the best actions were taken by us, America, directionally right. Like, oh, you need ventilators? We'll build ventilators. You need PPE? We'll do PPE. You need vaccines? We'll do vaccines. Like we're doers. It doesn't mean we're perfect, but we're doers. But we should be positive about what's happening. And the challenge for sort of we the people, the patriots, we the people, is to, as we see all the negative, which we have to point out, to point out this and this and this, Biden did that. Biden's more focused on restoring the Iranian deal, which was transfer of money to the Iranians to not really honor a deal. I love the idea that with the communist Chinese, we know that their modus operandi, their way of being, modus operandi is way of operating, is because they're communist, is to not honor their word. Because the person across the table from a communist is not to be honored. That's their teaching. It's a little bit like when you hear people in Islam, some of the Islamic teachings say you can lie to non-faithful people outside of the tribe. That's actually common. But we keep pretending that the communist regime is going to shoot straight with us when they actually have it as part of their position not to. And the same thing with Iran. We got Joe Biden desperately trying to renegotiate the Iranian deal, and they got tons of money, they got tons of assets. They said, "Oh yeah, we'll abide by it." The people across, the mullahs across the table from us in Iran, in any Iran deal, are by their nature incapable of honoring a deal. That's how they are. They don't hide that. They'll tell you that on the side, and then they'll just keep looking the Americans, having leaders, swamp leaders like Biden and others who get across the table from them and say, "Oh, this time they'll be good because they really want to work. I'm so special. I'm Joe Biden. I'm Obama Biden. We're so special. They'll do a good deal with us." Really? It's not how it works. So here's the thing. Back to this. The Biden numbers are bad. This is my challenge. The Biden numbers are bad. The basics are off. Uncertainty's all around us. But we the people have to be not only the people who know the truth of how great we can be, the success we can have, the gifts that we've been given, but we also have to be cheerleaders in that direction. We have to actively tell ourselves when you wake up, tell yourself when you wake up, first of all, say, thank God I woke up. Thank you for the gifts, God. And then say, I live in the greatest country in the history of the world. I have more opportunities here, more chances to make things special for me, for my family, for others. It's the best place. We have to cheerlead for ourselves and then cheerlead for our friends and neighbors, because we're getting beaten down. The fake news and big tech and big government, I call it the narrative machine, is trying to drive us nuts, all of us. And we cannot fall for it. We have to be the sort of beacons. Go back and read The Power of Positive Thinking, Dale Carnegie. Read that book and remember that teaching. He's phenomenal. That book, if we could renew one thing, and he's a great Christian. He was all of his teaching in there is about his faith. He's more quotes from the Bible than quotes from any business leader. You read these business guys now. Tony Robbins. He's like Joel Osteen. I mean, they've got stuff that makes you excited. I'm not saying it's not, interesting to read, and especially Tony Robbins has lots of real practical tips. But you read Dale Carnegie and The Power of Positive Thinking, and you'll see Norman Vincent Peale. I'm running them together. Norman Vincent Peale, The Power of Positive Thinking. That's the one I mean. Dale Carnegie was How to Win Friends and Influence People, which is also very good. But Norman Vincent Peale, The Power of Positive Thinking, phenomenal Christian teaching. So we have to be cheerleaders to ourselves and to the country, because the basics in this country are still the best ever. And it's you and me and all our neighbors that are the best ever in our system. But we've got to keep fighting for it. So that's your tip for today and for the weekend. Don't be discouraged by the Biden numbers, but be realistic about it. The job numbers are not good, but keep fighting through. Visit proamericareport.com and send me an email or text through all those different ways. Let me see here if it's on there. Go visit proamericareport.com and we'll be in touch. Talk to you soon.